point. Hello, wherever you are. This is the Soul Dive. My name is Lebo. I am so pleased that we are here with you today. It's just such a great privilege and an honor to spend this time with you in this way. We have, of course, not been on for a little while because December. But we are back with you to support you, to spend time with you, to soul dive, to actually just, do the work of getting deep down in there and becoming and working on ourselves, developing ourselves to be everything that we dream of, everything that we hope for. I am going to be talking about a topic that has been in my heart for quite a few days. I want to let you know that as I speak to you right now, we started this afternoon by actually finding out that a dear friend of ours has passed on, and we are feeling a little bit, how can I say, personal about it. But we pray for the family and we send them lots and lots of love. And we do feel a little bit sad that we are not able to be physically there. But yeah, just please know that we are with you, we love you, and our hearts and prayers are with you. Let's begin. We begin our time together with a tune in. This is the time when we pull ourselves towards ourselves, when we actually take a moment to ground ourselves in the moment, to connect with one another with the energy that we are all sending to one another, that is of comfort, of kindness, of gentleness, of coherence, and a sense of community. So I invite you right now to sit down in a place that you can be undisturbed for the next few minutes, maybe 5 to 7 minutes, and be able to just be with you in the fullest possible way, and by so doing be able to connect with us all over the world as we do. Take a nice deep in breath and out. Another deep in breath and out. Give yourself permission to relax. Lower your shoulders, loosen your arms, loosen your muscles. Give yourself permission to sink into the seat properly, putting your feet very firmly on the ground, feeling relaxed, more and more relaxed. Right. Focusing on your breath as it is. We're taking this moment to know ourselves, to know where we are at. If your breath is fast, just be aware of it. If your breath is slow, be aware of it. If you're breathing quite deeply, maybe you're lying down, just be aware of it. If you're breathing shallow, maybe you just ran in from wherever it is, your day's efforts, go ahead and give yourself permission to relax. Placing a hand over your heart, it doesn't matter which one. Still continuing to be with your breath. You are able to feel your heartbeat at this point because your hand is over your heart. If you can't feel it very much, don't worry about it. Just have your hand over your heart as to connect the energies of our breath and the energy of our heart. Bringing ourselves to where our body and our breath and our mind is together. As thoughts come and go, don't worry about the thoughts. Don't worry about the thoughts. Give yourself permission to just let them pass, just as you would if it was people walking down the street as you are walking down the street. Continuing to breathe nicely, a little bit slower now, deeply and rhythmically. Bring to mind a thought that reminds you of a time where you had most coherence with your community, with people around you, where you felt connected to people that are maybe not even in the same physical environment with you. I like to think of the time when we were celebrating the World Cup all over, wherever we were in the country and in the world. We were able to connect with one another's jubilation and celebration. Bring to mind a memory that brings you those kind of feelings of community, of coherence, of togetherness, of yes. Maybe they bring a smile to your face, maybe they bring a comfort and a hope. Bringing these feelings to mind allows us to employ the emotions that come with them in the next part that we're going to do. Right, I now invite you to silently or out loud, firmly with the sense of connection, of coherence, of community, and just that general sense of kindness towards all men, all people. Silently or out loud, say these words with me. My world is a place of beauty. I help my community and humanity one heart at a time. I'm committed to making the world a better place. I extend my essence of love and joy to the planet. I join with my sisters and brothers to save the world. Being part of the solution is fun and exciting for me. Take a nice deep in-breath. And as you do, raise your arms out. And as you breathe out, bring them back into a squeezy hug over yourself. And don't forget to smile. If you are with friends or family, go ahead and give somebody a hug and just, take advantage of this moment of such togetherness and coherence and intention. Go ahead and set the intention to take this feeling of togetherness, of kindness to all beings with you to the rest of your day and the rest of your week and so on. Right. Whew. I feel like we could do with that dance moment. This should have been it. I would very much like it if you're an artist or you know of one artist that is local, right? I'm all about local music. That would like to hear their music shared and that would like to share their music with us, to actually just nudge them this way. Let's do this together. We would love to have the opportunity to play your music on here, as well as just to actually just get to know you and be part of your journey. I want to talk about so much. I've really just seriously entitled the show for today, my notes for 2021. Because it's very, it's become very, very clear, like even on the eve of 2021, it was very clear to me that we are walking into an extremely ordinary year, but also into an extremely extraordinary one. What do I mean by this? I don't mean that it's confusing. I mean that it is both extraordinary and quite ordinary. The difference, my friends, is you and I. The difference in what this year actually is, in what each, in fact, day actually is you and me. We are not to wait for extraordinary moments to come, to happen, to materialize. We are to seize the common moments and make them great. Life is not a matter of achievements, but it is about moments that we live intentionally, deliberately, that we create through an ordinary heart, directing these actions on a daily, moment by moment basis. Dates don't matter. Whether it's the 1st, the 31st, the 15th, the 31st, the 12th, it does not matter. A date changes nothing. It is in fact useless unless you actively do something. Yeah. And I mean, by that, I mean when you choose to do something, then you choose to not do nothing. You see, doing nothing is still doing something. Silence, doubt, indecision, inaction, They all invite decay and destruction into our lives, one moment at a time. You know, we are in a place where so many of us are still asked to stay at home as much as often and things like that, maybe working from home. And there can be a bit of a disorientation when, you know, we're so used to beginning the year with a bang because, oh yes, this year I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, da, 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 da. And I want to just encourage you that the actual dates are not a thing. The actions that you take are a thing. The decisions that you make are a thing. I said to someone the other day that it's not about starting or stopping or doing things because of any external reasons or external things. It is about your heart-driven life, creating who you are, creating the kind of life and situation that you want to be in. And yes, there's a lot of things that are outside of our control, but it's not to say that our what you call input does not matter. It is not to say that we don't matter. We do. We are actually at this moment and alive and breathing this air in this day and age because we are exactly the right person for this. From 10,000 ancestors that have come before us, none of them could have done this moment like you can do this moment. Everything that they experienced in their lives and the history that is embedded within your DNA has brought you to this moment. You are exactly the right person for this, such a situation, such a life, such a time in life. And I often laugh when I hear people saying, oh, it's the end times. Honey, it is the end times for every single one of us, every single day, no matter when you were born, 10,000 years ago or now, because you live this one life and you don't come back to it and be like, yeah, I remember 13 lifetimes ago, this is what. No, you don't. You only have this life, this today, this moment, and it is up to us to make it count. Rather than counting dates, perhaps what you should be counting is making every date count, no matter what it is. So I made some notes, as I was saying, and the notes are really all about just things that I thought are going to be helpful to remember, to keep in mind as we go into this new year. As a matter of fact, it's almost like I'm feeling about them like they kind of crib notes, and a lot of it, yes, will be informed by things that happened to bring us here last year, what things we hoped we were done with, what things we dealt with, what things we hope to deal with, what things we hope to do and get to, and stuff like that. But I want to say to you that one of the things that became extremely quickly clear to me is that plans do not matter. Stadiums are full of planners and sideline coaches and people that say you should have kicked it this way, you should have done this and that. The fact of the matter is that there are so many coaches, so many planners, but it is you. It is the people that kick the ball that make history. It is the people that are on the pitch live, making decisions, have intuitively going left when they need to go left, going right when they need to go right. You don't need to have the entire plan in front of you. I think perhaps one of the things to do, first of all, is to decide who you want to be. We are called to go into the broad strokes of, as a matter of fact, as a being, who are you? What is your hope for yourself? What do you hope to be showing up as? What is your expression of yourself? So that's why it comes to me as no surprise that your intuition, the intuition of your heart, is enough to inform your actions. Because we've learned that no matter how much planning you can put into things, you have to still, on a daily basis, show up fully and 100% and actually trust your intuition, your internal wisdom, the wisdom that puts together your lived experience, your thoughts, your emotions, your subconscious mind, your spirit, your senses, everything that is you, your beingness, is the thing that needs to direct you. Because you see, there is so much uncertainty out there. If we let that uncertainty come in here then we will honestly be lost. But if we actually guard our energy and be in tune with every part of us, spirit, soul, and body, it becomes available to us. Everything within us becomes available to us as an innate wisdom that informs our every action. You know, it's not about doing things because these things make sense. These are the things that we were supposed to do, or these are the things that we used to making as resolutions. None of that is going to work. None of that is going to work for us in a year that is so full of uncertainty, in a time of life that is so full of questions. So when there's turbulence outside, we stabilize inside so we can deliberately move forward and be able to make the right decision at the right time. This innate wisdom is available to us when we feel that sense of togetherness between our spirit, our soul, and our body. When we are acting from a place of oneness, we are then able to take that journey of 1,000 miles one step at a time. Because of course it's going to take trusting that there is a higher power, trusting that there is innate wisdom within me, that the very life that causes me to continue breathing when there's so many who can't anymore actually has a plan and a purpose and provision for what I need to do next. But it's going to take doing the step that is right in front of me right now. So some of the things that I was thinking of is really how to put myself in the best position for that. And I hope that you will make comments about your own answers, your own realizations about what it is and what it's going to mean to carry on in such a time as this. Yeah. So that was my office phone ringing, studio office, all of that all together. And I see that it has also made the lights go blur. What an adventure. We don't need to plan. We be present. We do the things that we need to do as we need to do them and keep going one step in front of the other. So one of the most important things that we will find is to do your best on your own behalf. I'm going to make you an example. When we were having holidays just now, it's so nice to be able to say, I'm going to cook his favorite. I'm going to buy this one their favorite present. And do all of those things to please other people and to be kind to other people and all of that. But so often we are not listening to ourselves, standing up for ourselves, loving ourselves, not in that selfish way that says me above all else, but in that way that recognizes that you are part of me, and by me loving myself, I am honoring the love that you have for me and actually treating myself in the way that you would like to see someone treat someone that they care about, or that we can all agree this is the right way to treat someone you care about. So doing the best on our own behalf. So long we have taken on jobs that give us money but take away our joy, that give us the bread but take away our health, things like that. And we've had to decide about that. But now we sit in a position where all of the world is experiencing a squeeze, where the big question becomes, what do you bring to the table? You. And you're never going to know that unless you actually put the energy into yourself, listen to yourself, listen to your body, your senses, question your thoughts, take note of your own emotions, be your most cherished friend. Treat yourself the way that you would treat someone you really, really dig, that you really, really respect, that you admire, that you see greatness in. Through doing this, we train other people how to treat us, number one, but we will then be able to see and hear and care for those that we love. And I mean, I cannot put it as more important than, I know we've been socialized and trained to think, love your neighbor more than you love yourself. That is such cow dung. There was never that thing. Those were never the words. The words was, love your neighbor as you love yourself. But of course that comes from a deep-rooted understanding that As a matter of fact, your neighbor is part of you. When you love yourself, when you love your neighbor as you love yourself, you're basically doing two for the price of one. You are loving you and honoring your neighbor and loving your neighbor the way that you actually should. This one, having told you what I told you in the beginning of the show, is going to come as no surprise. It's give people their flowers while they live. We live in a time where you can go to bed tonight and everyone is fine, and then you wake up in the morning and some of the people did not wake up. I send my love and comfort and the absolute best hopes to everyone who has experienced this. We're going to need to do more than that, because we're not going to be having that moment where we can go stand by their graveside, where we can, I mean, a lot of that was in any case for the people that are still alive. So let's make a decision to give people their flowers while they live. If you think of someone, a friend maybe that you haven't spoken to for a while, or a family member, even if you spoke to them just yesterday, give yourself the opportunity to make sure that you have actually held space for those that you love, that you have told them what they mean to you, that you have expressed your gratitude for what they have done for you, and you have expressed your gratitude for having them walk that way with you. And of course, as an extension, take every opportunity to be kinder than necessary to strangers, to children, especially to people that you have nothing to gain from. A wise man, a wise person is one who plants a tree under whose shadow they will never sit. Because you never know, we are all travelers in this world. One day you are going to sit under that shadow, or you are going to sit under the shadow of a tree that somebody else planted, with this philosophy of being kinder than necessary to strangers. But it's also because every single one of us is fighting a battle that we know nothing about. So, one of my mothers always said, first rule, do no harm. And I like to put it this way. I say, don't be a temptation. Don't be the reason people need to turn to God. Don't be the reason people turn to stealing. Don't be the reason that people forsake their good manners and their good upbringing. Don't be that person who makes other people say, you know what, I'm going to take my salvation and put it there on the side for 5 minutes so I can deal with you. Let's not be that person. Don't let your name be a curse word in somebody else's home. When people are at home with their families, by themselves, whatever, let it be that they actually are able to think of you and think, hey man, that person is such a great blessing to my life. And I mean, I'm aware that there are those people for whom you will be a villain in their lives. Don't worry about that. That's not your baby. That's not your indaba. It's their own. And then very importantly, while we are there, make note of the things that bring you joy. Make note of the things that fulfill your energy or take away from your energy. Make note of the things that lift you up, edify you, put a smile on your face, and make you think of good things and good times. Consider these things. Share them with others. Record them for yourself. Treasure them. Think of them often and allow yourself to marvel at the goodness of them. Because when it is like this, every pot of news is going to tell you all the bad news. You are the best newscast for the best news, because you know the best news in your life. You know what has been going good. You know what keeps you going. You know what has kept you away from the end of that rope. You know what has kept you doing the things that you know to do, even though sometimes you see no result from them. And then, of course, a very nice one that some people told me last year that they had done this last year. They'd done that, as they end the year. Purge the clutter. And I'm not even talking about physical clutter, although if you've got physical clutter, it is also a sign of that, it can affect your mental state of being, because you can find that your mind is also cluttered. When you are not able, I know with myself, when I'm not able to just make things simpler, simplifying my life so that things I don't have to go back to previous unfinished tasks. I don't have to, think about too much things. I can actually identify clarity for myself in my own heart and mind, as well as in my physical environment. So purge the clutter, reduce the things that just are unnecessary. And if you think of actually giving away some of the things, look up the Buy Nothing project. It's online, it's all over the world. It is a gifting economy to share resources in your immediate neighborhood. As you may be having certain things that you have an abundance of, an overabundance of, somebody right next door to you, down the road from you, might actually be needing those very same things that you are just allowing to collect dust, that bring you no joy, that add to your sense of panic because there's just so much everywhere, that kind of thing. And speaking of clearing your clutter, clear your watch history. Maybe purge your list on Netflix. Clear your watch history on your search history of things. Maybe even just browse incognito for a while, just to get exposed to new information, to information that isn't based on all your habits that you have had up until now. Because when we do that, expose ourselves to new information, it actually challenges us, because so many times we get stuck in our own echo. We are with people who look like us, think like us, eat like us, live like us, and it can make us callous to other people's experiences. The best weapon against fake news is your lived experience, your true experience, or in fact the true and lived experience of somebody else that you have held space for. So in that thinking, I want to remind you to have real life conversations with real life people. None of this commenting only. A friend of mine once said to me, when you spend too much time on your own, not sharing ideas and opinions with others, you can find yourself getting very, very weird. You start to think very, very strange thoughts. And I've seen it. Think about yourself. I last year had opportunity to go and be on a silent retreat for 10 days. I tell you, I found out I am seriously funny. But when I was trying to think back to the things that I found so funny, I realized that some of them are not necessarily for public consumption. So remember to make a deliberate effort to have, as much as possible, real life conversations with real life people, whether that be on the phone or a video thing or any measure that you can actually take. Yes, there's social distancing necessary, but let's not let our relationships and friendships fall into disrepair. And on that note, make a renewed commitment in your relationships. And I want to put this one very much more specifically. It is about revisiting, especially when we are beginning a new year or a new experience in our lives. Maybe you were working, you're suddenly not, maybe, whatever has changed in our lives. It is nice to actually touch base and talk about where we are heading, and rather make agreements over things that matter. Bring up those things that you wonder about, this is how you clear your mental and emotional clutter in a relationship, that you address expectations, you address what changes you've come through, and you make a renewed commitment on agreements that you have that are in place. Maybe some of the things, I see a joke so often on TikTok that says, I am so sure that my wedding has been postponed. To think a pandemic postponed my wedding. Meanwhile, a person doesn't even have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, but they're quite sure that, that has been postponed, that the wedding has been postponed. Imagine you're in a relationship with someone, you had maybe talked about 2021 is exactly the year that we're going to get married, and then you find that the situations have changed and you now have to actually make different plans, make different commitments. It is worth making an agreement over before it becomes a festering thing, an expectation that is unmet and becomes a disease within your relationship. So make a renewed commitment in your relationships. Remember, this is all in line with actually, who am I? It is all in line with clarity about the identity you are presenting, the identity that you are living in, the you that you want to perpetuate in yourself. I cannot stop without saying to you, it is so important at a time like this that you do one thing at a time. I suggest it, I recommend it, I believe in it with all of my heart. Because you see, our bodies are the only thing that tie us to this present moment in this physical world. So we must practice using our bodies to ground ourselves in the now. So much of our anxieties are actually tied to our fears about the future. So much of our insecurities are tied to our experiences of the past. But when we are present and in the now, we are able to function at the available expertise, experience, intuition, anointing of the moment to actually do the absolute 100% in this moment. But we need to be fully here. It is more important than ever for us to be fully present. I mean, after all, we live in a time where just even breathing in front of the wrong person can literally kill a person. You could just be carrying on doing your thing and then somebody walks in and you're not even present in the moment enough to realize that, hey, I should have put my mask back up or anything like that. And we find ourselves put in danger for not being in the present moment, for not being grounded in the present moment as we carry on with our daily lives. I want to encourage you on one very important thing. This one has always been important, will always be important. Rein in your fear. Along with all the knowledge I've asked you to exercise in yourself and to investigate within yourself, pull back your fear. If watching those crime dramas is giving you goosebumps and making your heart beat faster or making you yelp out in fright when someone just walks in unexpected, then know this, your body is telling you that this is increasing your anxiety levels. Remember that your body is run by your subconscious mind. So it doesn't know that this is only a TV show. It doesn't know this is only a video. It's actually literally making it in your body as if you are going through that experience right now. Even though it's a different person you're watching on TV. Yes, we think we can compartmentalize. Yes, in your monkey brain, the mind that's actually wanting to be entertained in the first place, you think that you've separated that. But the fact that you are experiencing it through the main character, whoever it is, guess what? It means that you're experiencing it in your body. Yeah, that is exactly how that works. So rein in the fear. Rein in the fear. And one of the things that you're going to actually do to be able to do that is give yourself positive moments. I've heard a long time ago that if you have one negative experience for every 5 positive experiences, then you're fine. Because what that means is that you consciously remember these 4 experiences much more than you probably remember the negative experience. But you need to make it a deliberate thing. So then I ask you to celebrate often. Celebrate the small things, celebrate the medium things, celebrate the big things, but celebrate often. Include your family. Celebration is a form of externally expressed gratitude. The gesture itself can be big or it can be small. You can celebrate just by having an extra chocolate. I don't know. You decide how you celebrate. You can celebrate by doing whatever it is that actually brings you a little bit of a smile, brings you a little bit of joy. To just say to yourself, yeah, actually it's pretty cool. What's going on? It's nice. And remember to dance. Dance. Dance alone, dance with a child, dance with your hopes and dreams. Just dance. Just dance. Yes, these are my notes on 2021. I'm going to close this by just saying there are questions that perhaps you can ask yourself, you know, over the next few days. I don't mind if you make resolutions, if you wait for your birthday to make resolutions, if you make plans, you don't make plans. For every single one of us, it's extremely important to be very, very clear about a number of things. And these are questions that I hope will help you to get that clarity, that will actually help you direct your life in a way that will create a life you enjoy, that you are proud of, and you actually take pleasure in living on a day-to-day basis. So one of the questions, and this one has become a very important one to me, what do I want my life to feel like? This is going to affect things like who you allow into your company, what things you read, what things you watch, what things you actually give your attention to and your breath to. What do I want my life to feel like? If it makes you feel crappy, please, this is the only life you get. You don't get a refund from life just because you didn't enjoy yourself. There's no refunds. So you ask yourself, what do I want my life to feel like? And then take a moment to just go into that and contemplate it. Quietly just contemplate, what do I want my life to feel like? It doesn't have to be a long, everyday thing, routine, whatever. Do it every time you remember. The next one is, what do I need to do the most? Now I'm talking about effort, not achievement. What you need to do the most. What we forget sometimes is that the things we do actually are part of the journey, where achievement is that once-off milestone that happens only ever so often. But when we actually are intentional about the actual efforts, the actual things that we are doing, then we are more likely to get there. It's like when you get on the N1 from Joburg and you keep driving, there is one destination. It's not like it's multiple choice. You keep driving down a specific road, it will take you to where that road ends. So effort will help you to do that. But it's based off of, what do I want my life to feel like? It's based off of, what do I need to do most? And very much more importantly, who do I most want to be? A lot of us have changed, have grown, have evolved, and unless we actually question ourselves and get in touch with ourselves and ask ourselves these questions and check with ourselves what is real and true within me, we may find ourselves on a path that we no longer recognize, that starts to actually rob us of the very essence of life. So we're talking about how each day is both ordinary and extraordinary. The difference, my friend, is you. What you do, what you hold on to, what you let go of, what you are being on a day-to-day, moment-by-moment basis. There are those in this life that will see you as a villain in their lives. Don't mind about that. The important thing is to be a hero in your own story. Okay? In your story, you are the hero. You are the one who's going to make things happen in your story. Don't mind about who you are in other people's stories more than you actually take care to be the hero in your own story. It takes deliberate, mindful action. Character is built on purpose. It's not accidental. It's not something that you just fall into. Oh, I'm a person of character. Justin G. No, it is built on purpose. One does not fall into good manners. Good fruit takes cultivation. So sow those seeds. Choose to be a beacon of light wherever you go. Keep your heart from offense and resentment. Laugh as often as you can. Go with the flow and take every available opportunity. Remember to do no harm to others. We are being called to slow down, to reflect, and to be our truest potential. It is so tempting to do the bare minimums, but it is a time of seed sowing. In all of life, there is seed time and harvest time. When it seems quiet like this, when it feels like you've been buried, when it feels like there's just so much manure over you, when it feels like everything you touch is just so much manure, then guess what? You are being a seed right now. You have been planted. All of that manure around you mean that it is growth time. It is time to sprout some roots and pop some stem. Grow a backbone if that's what you need to be doing. Get clarity about where you are going, who you are, what leaves are appropriate for you. Nurture yourself. Take light in, take nourishment in. Guard yourself. Hide yourself from the harsh sun if that's what it takes. Hide yourself from harsh, unexpected energies of people that come with despair and whatever. Not that we not be helpful, but show up for ourselves. Give more than we take. Listen more than we talk. It is time to make bold investments. An investment is a time of sowing. It's a time of putting things in place. And we've been given, they say second wave, second wave. I see second opportunity to take bold steps into becoming everything that we hope will one day be read by someone when they read about us and they talk about us and remember us. There is no hero coming. The hero is you. Shake yourself awake and do something. This has been The Soul Dive. My name is Lebo. I thank you so much for tuning in with us. This will also be available on our YouTube channel. Please take a moment to go and subscribe to that and get in touch with us. And of course, remember to comment on this. And if you want to show us love, you share it with a friend and like this video so that we can get a little bit more reach. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have an awesome, awesome week further.